something light. No, drawing over here. Of course. Okay. Shelf. Slytherin. Unique username, Slytherin. I'm guessing you are put in the house of Slytherin. Thank you for the follow. For the longest time, I thought I was a Slytherin, and then I took the test again, and then it put me in Ravenclaw, and I was like, why? Because, no offense, I am not the smartest cookie on a good day. But then it put me in Hufflepuff, and I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. But then I heard about Hufflepuffs and Slytherins being besties, and I was like, of course. Every Slytherin gets a Hufflepuff bestie. Okay, is it shelf? And I know that not all Slytherins are bad, because they're not. They just get a bad rep, and sometimes they just act like they're they're bad, but they're big softies in the end. There we go. Okay. Shelf. Which shelf? I thought I cleaned you. What did I not get? There we go. Okay. Railing. Yeah, that makes sense. Because I've been putting off cleaning this thing because it's really hard to clean. Because the angle is so weird. You know what I mean? Okay. Paint. Paint shelf. Shelf paint 10. Okay, which one is that? That one? That one? That one? That one? Which one? I'm sorry, there's a lot of paint shelf 10s. Like, literally. Oh, just that one? Okay, so we finished that. That took forever. To be honest, that took me a little too long. But it is a very big space. I'm like going, how does this little house have such a big basement? Okay, so now we're cleaning his airplane? Okay, well, I still think his yard's super weird, but I mean, that's him for you, right? Oh, we're cleaning all his vehicles. Okay. clean all vehicles. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so he runs a bakery and he's an inventor? Like, oh, like how many jobs do you have, sir? I thought he was a farmer for the longest time. Now I don't know. Can we get the door clean? And no offense, but I think his dog's smarter than him in a lot of ways. Am I not doing that already? Thank you for the likes. Karen, are you an actual Karen? I'm just asking. Thank you for the follow. Or is it just a bad timing for your name? No, okay. I know some other people named Karen who are very nice people. So I'm just asking, is it like ironic that your name is Karen? Or am I reading wrong? Because I could be reading wrong. I am sorry if I am. I have very bad dyslexia, and so reading things. Um. Okay. I'm just. Um. Okay. I'm not going. I am not going into that because I could get myself into a lot of trouble. More other issues, but. Do not 5. That is a unique license. I mean, I guess it makes sense because it's on his bakery truck. So I guess the license plate makes sense. But my question is there a little bit of innuendo. Easy for me to say, huh? uh... uh, I did say I didn't say I was good at speaking, did I? But you know what I meant. I hope. If not, then maybe that's a good thing. Haha, you're so funny. I love that there's no cars coming down the road. Because could you imagine you trying to do a job and like having to look out for cars? It's like, oh no. Those tires look so narrow. My issue is like, how did your cars get dirty too? On top of everything else. Actually, they're clay animation tires, so they look like clay animation tires. Because technically, everything here is clay animated, or meant to look clay animated. If that makes any sense. And I'm trying to remember what time period Wallace and Gromit are supposed to be in. But maybe they're sort of like in one of those things that are sort of kind of time, like it doesn't actually have like a time period. It's just sort of a mesh of them, and so it's not a like a real exactly a real place. Say it's just sort of a time, you know. Because like watching some like if you watch some of the movies that there are a couple of movies out there where like you're not exactly sure what time period they're in because they're sort of like they kind of look like they could be like sort of put in the 50s, but then they have like sort of 80s elements, and so you're like, okay, is this 80s? Is this 50s? Where does this kind of lie? Anyways, yeah, so like I like for some reasons I have no clue why, but like when I'm like watching a show like and like I'm not sure exactly what time period they're supposed to be in, I'm like, okay, I like the show, but what time period are we supposed to be in? What like where are we supposed to be? Like sort of like a generic Midwest USA area. And I'm like, okay, that's not helpful. Not helpful at all. Or like it's like like a little British town somewhere, and you're like, okay, but like where? Like, is it close to London? Is it like where? Where? And sometimes I just get really into the like whole like I need to know where this thing is supposed to be set, sort of in generic terms. Yeah, yeah. Or like how many miles from like London or from Washington D.C. or wherever like it's supposed to be, like, but how far? I mean, I don't like math, but I do like knowing how far things are from other things, especially if you're trying to make it a somewhat realistic, believable. You know what I mean? Like if you're going for fantasy or sci-fi or like one of those genres, it does not have to be realistic at all. But if you're trying to do slice of life, I know, but like that like a slice of life something, I'm like, okay, where is this supposed to be? He has a refrigerator on the back of his car. On the back of this car. Yeah, exactly, cuz like I know there's different like a slice of life for someone who lives in the Midwest and a slice of life of someone who lives in New York or LA is completely different. Like completely different on how like okay, yeah, everybody eats breakfast or lunch or whatever and like walks or drives or uses the train or something most of the time in their life. But it's like, but is it realistic to where it's supposed to be? Because it's like, because I'm like, I'm trying so hard not to pick at it and go, what place is this supposed to be? Or where is this supposed to be? Like, what time period, where, what, like. And sometimes I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to extend, like, just go, okay, this is how it is, this is what it's like, and try not to go, okay, but that doesn't work. Or that's not, like, that's not how that works. Kind of thing. Oh, yeah. I Google things, like, I go, okay, what is, like, I Google basic information. I try not to, like, go too detailed, especially if I'm watching the show. Because, like, I don't want to spoil myself, even though when I'm watching a mystery, like a mystery TV show or movie or reading a mystery book, I sometimes figure out who the person, like the killer or whatever, is by halfway through the book. That too. But I'm probably on a watch list no matter. I think everybody's probably on a watch list just because. But no, it's just like I think probably I'm really on one because I do look up like murder mystery things a lot. Not true crime things, but like murder mystery books or TV shows. So I might actually be on a list somewhere just because. But no, it just annoys me because they follow a plot that is sort of very like a whole bunch of other like like mystery. It's just like what's the word? What's the thing I'm looking for here? Hmm. Like, okay, you know how there's like archetypes of like different characters. There's archetypes of different genre, like story patterns or whatever. And so like I can guess on like half of them what's going to happen, and then I listen to the whole book because I listen to my books. Um, and we can argue about if listening to your books is not real reading. If people really want to argue about that, because I will. But anyways, so I'll get halfway through the book and go, I know who did it, or or I know how or why they did it. Sometimes I don't always know the person who did it, but like I know the reason they did it and how they did it. Cuz like I can go, "Oh, this person totally murdered this person because they found out they were embezzling money from them or something like that, or because they were cheating on them for whatever." And I'm like, "I know, but I don't know why." I know, but it's like, but sometimes I'm so disappointed because it's like, I knew that's how it was going to end. I knew it was this reason and this is why, blah, blah, blah. But every once in a while, there is a twist. And like, I get most of it right, but I don't get the right person. And I'm like, what? What? It's like, how did I not, like, you know, like it was this person because like this person was throwing red flags everywhere and like very noticeable red flags, but it's like I didn't think it was this one. Weird. And the other problem is when they bring someone completely who hasn't been in the book at all and it's like, this is the killer. You're like, where did the frick did they come from? They weren't in the book at all up until the last bit. You're like, the last like 3 chapters or something. And you're like, what? Where did this person come from? Who is this person? Maybe, or we just really like complicated like plots. I mean, I hate. Okay, so I dislike and okay, I have a dislike and a like for Wheel of Time. Okay? I hate it and I like it all at the same time because it's very complicated, which I enjoy. But sometimes it's a little too complicated because the stupid people have the same names. Like, not the same names, but same sounding names. So it's like, if you're listening to it, you're like, which one is this now? Because they all have like G names or whatever. Like, when's Gwen and when's Gwendolyn? And like, I'm like, why? Why do they all have G names? Or J names? Like, or like, could you not make it sound like the names sound slightly different instead of it all kind of merging? And so this is like why I do kind of sometimes like want to have a physical book like with me so I can like go, okay, this is how you spell this person's name and this is how you say it. Okay, that makes sense. Because most of the time I'm listening to a book and I don't have a physical book with me to look at on top of listening to it. So it's like I don't know what their names look like. And asking me to spell people's names? Yeah. Like they all sort of sound similar and you're like, why do they all have G names? Sometimes I feel like authors, I know authors do make up their own languages, but I think they make up their own languages so they can spell people's names weird. Just because. I mean, I do like a unique name, okay? I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just sometimes I wish the names sounded like how they were spelled. I'm just saying, I wish they sounded like they were spelled. But I know that's not how that works. And I know authors do it because they want to have a uniqueness to their book or whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, the plot like and I know there's a limit to how many like different plots you could have on top of everything else because after a while you're just going to have to use one of the already kind of done plots because there's a certain amount of things you can do in this world. Hi Sam, are you back? We fell down talking about books. Um books thing while we're doing this. Me complaining about books and people's names in books. Um, the worst part is I've been on this like Pacific book kicker for the last 3 years now, and it's starting to become very hard to find exactly the books. So, okay, so for a long time, I was really into vampires, like vampire books. Now, oh, what more news about the great football do you have to share with us? And is it about more trades? Because I don't know. I'm just asking. Oh, that a good thing or a bad thing? Sorry, I'm very out of the loop here. So you're gonna have to tell me if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm assuming it's a good thing. It's a good and a bad thing. Okay, so it's a and a Okay, got it. Well, okay, tell me why it's good. Okay, tell me why uh, football players getting released is a good thing. Explain that why it's a good thing, and then explain why it's a bad thing. Cause I don't know. I don't know anything about that. Yeah, and I get the rundown. Oh, they're saving money. Well, that sounds like a bad thing. That sounds like they are being cheap. I get updates from Sam about them. I don't know anything about football at all, so I'm like, okay. Uh, explain. The teams are saving money and losing money. Well, yeah, I guess that would be true because if you traded slash released someone that's like really popular or whatever, and you gave them away, it would make your team less interesting to certain people, right? That's what I understand, anyways. Is I'm not very good with any anything that's sports wise. I understand some concepts and others I cannot grasp. Yeah, like especially if it's a good player. But usually they don't trade the good players. Usually they usually trade the kind of mid range or bad ones. If I understand right from what I understand about that. I mean, cuz like the only like sports. Okay, Seahawks. Oh, they lost two of their quarterbacks. Oh, okay. Did their quarterbacks quit or did they trade them? Sorry, I'm lost here, so I'm just asking the questions. Oh, traded them. Okay. But was it a bad trade? Like on Seahawks side that they traded those two? Okay.